Okay, the first thing you're gonna do when you approach your truck, you're gonna check if it's leaning. Make sure it's not leaning to the left or the right, which could indicate a suspension problem. You're also gonna look up under the truck to see if there is any leaks. There are no leaks. You're gonna check your lights. Okay, those lights above the windshield, those are your clearance lights. I have my clearance lights. They're clean, they're not cracked, and they're the proper color. Also, you're gonna check your headlights, both the right and the left. Okay, this is my headlight. It's clean, it's not cracked, and it's the proper color. This is my high beam, and this is also my turn signal and my four-way flash. On this side, this light is also clean, not cracked. My high beam is clean, not. This is my high beam. This is my turn signal. Is also my four-way flashers. All right. Now I'm gonna open the hood. You gotta be able to open the hood on your own. So put your foot down here at the bottom. We're gonna pull it. We're gonna let it go. Okay, now, you're only supposed to do unique items on this side of the truck. But for practice purposes, I'm gonna go over this part. But when you do your test, the only thing you're gonna check on this side is the coolant reservoir, the water pump, and the washer fluid reservoir. All right? The rest of it you'll check on the driver's side. Okay? So when I get to this side, what I do an overview of all my hoses. All right? None of my hoses, there are no brazen bulges or cuts in any of my hoses, and none of them are leaking. Also, I'm going to check my coolant reservoir. My coolant reservoir is properly mined and secured. It's not leaking. It's at the proper operating level. I would remove my cap, but it could be hot. All right? I have my water pump. All right? My water pump is belt driven. It's properly mined and secured. It's not bent to warp nor leaking. And my belt is also properly mined and secured. It has no more than 3/4 inch of plate, and it's not cut nor frayed. I have my washer fluid reservoir. It's properly mined and secured. It's at the proper operating level, and it's not leaking. Okay. Now, when you come to this side, like I said, on that you would do this on your driver's side. But for practice, to see it better, you can do it on this side. Okay. Now, right here, if y'all can see it, we're gonna name these parts of your suspension. All right. This is my spring mount. This is my leaf spring. These are my U-bolts, and this is my shock. All right. My spring mount is properly mined and secured. It's not bent, nor warped, nor cracked. I have my leaf springs. They're properly mined and secured. There's none broken, misaligned, nor missing. These are my U-bolts. They're not bent nor cracked, and they properly mined and secured. This is my shock. It's properly mined and secured. It's not leaking, which might indicate it needs replacing. Next, I'm gonna hit my braking system. My braking system consists of my brake hose, my brake chamber clamp, my slack adjuster, my push rod, carter pin, my brake drum, and my brake lining. Okay? And then I go and get a description for it. I have my brake hose. There's no abrasion, bulges, or cuts in my brake hose, and it's not leaking. And it's also not rubbing anything. I have my brake chamber. It's properly mined and secure. It's not bent, nor warped, nor leaking. My brake chamber clamp is properly mined and secure around my brake chamber. I have my slack adjuster. My slack adjuster is properly mined and secure, and it's set 90 degrees to my push rod. My carter pin is intact, and it has no more than 1 inch of play when the brakes are released. I have my brake drum. It's properly mined and secure. It's not bent nor warped, and there's no grease or debris on my brake drum. I have my brake lining. It's properly mined and secure. There's no grease or debris on my brake lining. You can say it's either minimum of 1/2 inch thickness, or you can say it's not worn dangerously thin. Either one is acceptable. Okay. The next is my tire. For my tire, we have our sidewalls, we have our tread depth, we got our rim, our lug nuts, our hub axle assembly, the hub seal, which is here, our hub plug, and also our valve stem. Okay, I will check my sidewalls. You can combine them. You don't have to do each individual sidewall. So I'm checking my sidewalls. There's no abrasion, bulges, or cuts in my sidewalls, which might indicate a belt separation. I'm checking my tread. Okay, it's wearing evenly, has a minimum of 4/32 of tread depth. I got my rim. It's properly mined and secured. It's not bent, no warp, no illegal welds or drill holes on my rim. I'm checking my lug nuts. They all properly mined and secured. There's none missing. There's no rust streaks that might indicate a loose lug nut, and the holes are not distorted, which might indicate a loose lug nut. Got my valve stem. It's a metal valve stem. It's not leaking. And if I had a air gauge, I would check the inflation. All right. You can say you'll check the inflation, or you can say 100 psi, either one you're comfortable with. All right. Now I got my hub back to assembly. It's properly mined and secured. My hub seal is not leaking. My hub plug is intact, and my hub is filled with oil. All right. That's that on this side. Okay. Now remember the suspension.
Thank
The
you.
brakes and all of that, you will on your test, you will check it on the driver's side, but while you're practicing, you can use this side because there's more room to see it, okay? All right, now we'll move over to the driver's side. On the driver's side, we have two, I'm gonna talk louder because of the train coming, okay? On the driver's side, we have two components that you cannot see. Back here, all you have to do is point. It's the air compressor. All right? And down here is your power steering pump. All right? They get the exact same description. Back here I have my air compressor. My air compressor is properly mined and secured. It's not leaking, and it's also gear driven. I have my power steering pump. It's properly mined and secured. It's not leaking, and it's also gear driven. All right? I have my power steering fluid reservoir. My power steering fluid reservoir is properly mined and secured. It's not leaking, and it's at the proper operating level. All right. I have my alternator. My alternator is properly mined and secured. It's not bent nor warped nor cracked. The wires coming from my alternator are not cracked nor frayed. It's belt driven. All right. My belt is not cut or frayed, and my belt has no more than 3/4 inch of play. Right here is my engine oil field. This is where I will fill up my oil. Right here is where I would check my oil. If I had a rag, I would pull it out, wipe it off, stick it back in, pull it out, and I would check the level of my oil. Then also we'll do an overview of all our hoses on this side. None of our hoses, there are no abrasion, bulges, or cuts, and none are leaking. Overview of the wires on this side also. None of my wires are cut nor frayed. All right. Next, we will hit our steering system. Your steering system consists of your steering arm, your steering gearbox, your pitman arm, your drag link, and back here it's your tire rod. All right, so that's your steering components. The description for the steering components is, I have my steering arm. It's not bent nor warped. It has no more than 10 degrees of play. And my fitting is not leaking. All right. I have my steering gearbox. It's properly mined and secure. It's not bent, warped, nor cracked, and it's not leaking. And also my hoses coming from it, they're not cracked nor leaking. Okay, and they're in good condition. All right. I got my pitman arm. My pitman arm is properly mined and secure. It's not bent, warped, nor cracked. All right. And my castle nut and cotter pin are intact on it. Right here I have my drag link. My drag link is properly mined and secure. It's not bent nor warped. And my castle nut and cotter pin are intact on it as well. Back here I have my tire rod. My tire rod is properly mined and secure. It's not bent nor warped. My castle nut and cotter pin are intact on it as well. And that completes my steering system, and that's part A, the engine compartment, okay?